Meal Prep Mondays is here. How to get your family eating healthy and eating on a budget. We're going to feature that. But today we're going to be talking with nutrition expert Seanna Thomas about canned fish. No cans on display here, but the results of what comes from the can is here, Seanna. And all of this smells really good, looks really good. My mouth is kind of watering. Just this must be some sort of tuna dip here.
Well, it is a mackerel, a smoked mackerel dip.
Mackerel, okay.
Yeah, and so I wanted to sort of introduce everybody to some family-friendly ways to get more canned fish into your diet. Because I know a lot of people are like, oh, canned fish, really? And I mean, we think tuna fish sandwich, maybe a tuna casserole, right? Yeah. And it doesn't really go beyond that a lot of times for families, but it's so budget-friendly, so nutritious for you. And so this smoked mackerel dip you make in a food processor, cream cheese, yogurt, a bunch of spices like Old Bay, some mustard. I throw wasabi in there.
Oh yeah.
So if you have horseradish, whatever, it is spicy. I actually probably could have toned it down a little bit for this one. Yep. Some red pepper and celery for crunch. You just fold that in there. And I mean, if you're putting it on a cracker, it's a lot more appetizing than if you're like, here's some smoked mackerel to your kids,
yeah,
right?
Hey, good point. Yeah, kids love crackers too, so it's kind of a good delivery device too.
Exactly.
And you get the cucumber as well.
It's a great way to introduce it, really easy to make. You can make it in advance and serve it with some of their favorites, right? Some of their favorite veggies or crackers, and it's really appetizing, and it's really good, and it doesn't smell fishy.
No, it doesn't. It's not too bad. And the protein level, right, is enormous as well, right?
Absolutely, and healthy fats in there, like really, really good for you.
Okay, so I'm going to try a little bit while you talk about these salmon patties that you're going to create.
Yeah, for sure. Now, careful, it is spicy.
Okay, that's good. I like spice. I like a little heat.
So these salmon burgers are made with canned salmon. Okay. What I love about these, and what I love about canned salmon in general, is it comes with everything in there. So there's skin in there, there's bones in there, but you can actually eat all of that, and you get all the nutrition benefits as well. So I do take the skin off to make these burgers because I don't like to have a big piece of skin in there, but you can leave the bones in and you actually get the calcium benefits from the bones. You don't have to pull them out, they just absorb right in there. And these are made with some potatoes, so they're really palatable for kids as well if you're thinking about, changing up your burgers and doing something non-beef. So these are really easy to make. And like I said, just a can of salmon in there. You could double it up if your kids like the taste of salmon and you like the taste of salmon, but really nice and easy, and just serve them as a burger. Who doesn't like a burger?
Exactly, and the potato component to this as well, is that what helps kind of
bind everything
it all together? Yeah.
For sure, and it plumps it up a little bit too, right? And when we're talking about being economical and saving money at the grocery store, I mean, you can't get more economical than potatoes.
Let me ask, when it comes to buying, when I'm in the canned fish aisle or canned food aisle, right? There's like, it's in oil, packed in water, packed in I can't make sense of what's what. Like, how do you decide whether you do the packed in oil, packed in water, or whatever? What's the difference?
Well, I think it depends on the recipe that you're making, but I typically go for tuna packed in water because that'll make a tuna sandwich with. Okay. But for these ones, for the mackerel and for our next recipe here for the Caesar, I go for something packed in oil because it has all of those healthy fats in it, and usually it's an olive oil, it's nice and rich, and it's not something you just want to toss aside. So I think it really is a preference as well. So it really depends on what you're making and what you like.
By the way, this is nice. And you know what? I don't think it's that spicy.
Okay, good.
I was expecting more, but it was really delicious.
Okay, maybe I'm just not as tolerant to spice as you are.
Never know. That's true.
Yeah.
Caesar salad, you got the classic here. You got the anchovies in this one as well.
Yes. So when I made this at home, even my kids were like, I don't even want to see you open the can, like, ew, it's so gross. But it's actually classic to have anchovies in a Caesar dressing. The only difference with mine is I make it with Greek yogurt. There's no raw egg yolk in here. So if you're worried about that with your kids, having the raw egg yolk, this is a really great one to make. It all goes in the blender. So if your kids are a little adverse to seeing the fish, it just blends up so they don't actually see it, right? So this is a really nice way to get that sort of salty, briny flavor and get them used to that flavor of fish without actually having a big piece of fish in front of them.
So we've got the recipe up there, but just give everyone a bit of a sense of exactly then how are you doing that without the egg in particular?
Oh, well, it's just the yogurt, right?
So you're
just using the yogurt instead, a little bit of olive oil, all the things that you would put in otherwise. So there's, you can pronounce it better than me, Worcestershire sauce, Dijon, a little salt and pepper, tons of garlic in here as always, and Parmesan cheese. So it really is sort of a classic Caesar dressing, but instead of making a mayonnaise base with the oil and egg, you're just using Greek yogurt instead.
Where do we find this all, Seanna?
All on my Instagram and Facebook, Seanna Thomas Nutrition. You can find everything there this week.
All right, that's Meal Prep Mondays. Thanks, Seanna. That's good. I'm going to take another little dip of this mackerel as we head to break. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you.
CP24 Breakfast Meal Prep Mondays are brought to you by Healthy Planet Kitchen. Live life healthy.